I don't mean to keep you daily updated or weekly updated on this, but Paramount Plus continues to tempt me, trying to get my $11.99 a month. Most recently, not just with The Curse, which I have not checked out yet.
Good Burger 2?
A Milli Vanilli documentary. There was a very popular music act that toured the country that was doing music, and they were lip syncing the entire time.
Let me save you 3 hours. They faked it. The end.
I know, but that's what you've been doing for 20 years, and it's not yet the end.
Cliff Notes.
You are still here faking it and alive and vibrant.
Barely.
Well, yes, that's true.
Right.
Yesterday, one of the things that I thought was interesting, Stugotz, about the football, because by itself, that was a bad slate. But this is the magic. When 5 of them are decided by field goals and 2 of them are decided by interceptions because everybody is so closely matched and everyone is that Seattle-Washington game, when so much of the sport is that, the magic of the sport is somehow, Stugotz, 5 games coming down to the last kick, 2 of them coming down to a game-winning interception. It doesn't matter who the teams are. It doesn't matter the uniforms, the laundry. It's just drama, 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 tension, tension, tension. And also, hey, look, C.J. Stroud is a total star, and Houston has something that every team in the league envies because not every team in the league, every fan base in sports envies what Houston has at quarterback because you're like, oh, they're going to be great forever as long as he doesn't get hurt. This isn't Kyler Murray. This isn't a temporary thing. That guy, no matter who I put him with, is going to be poised as a quarterback for a decade, making longer throws down the field. He is throwing the ball. He is slinging it in a league that has gotten awfully sphincter congested throwing the ball with checkdowns. Everybody's got Kenny Pickett. Nobody's got C.J. Stroud.
The NFL is amazing where you care about Arizona and you care about the Atlanta Falcons. And you have no reason to care about those 2 teams, but the game was so great. Kyler Murray's back. There are storylines, so you care about it. The Texans have that thing, Dan. They have, I call it the thing that every NFL team wants. They have the rookie quarterback on a rookie contract who's as good as any quarterback in the NFL, and now they can build around that thing. They have it. They have the guy. And if you're Carolina, what you must be thinking for taking the wrong guy, that has to sting. It just has to hurt.
Especially with no first-round draft pick.
I know.
That going to Chicago. I'd like to gauge the room because something was happening in my group chats yesterday that a lot of people were complaining about this NFL season. I guess because scoring is down, people are complaining that with bad football. And I happen to think the NFL is awesome this year. This is a complimentary football that I grew up watching. I think this is probably, in my lifetime, the best pass rushing generation I've ever seen.
It has to be.
I've never seen so many. You got Max Crosby playing last night. Myles Garrett.
Every team has one, it feels like.
I could watch
The
Myles
Niners
Garrett
have 2 now.
try to chase down Lamar Jackson for the entirety of my life. Micah Parsons. There's 2 Bosas killing it. It's an unbelievable time to have this many great pass rushers. I'd also say that the cornerback play, which was really struggling over the last few years to find its footing against all the new rules, is finally coming online. And we're seeing really great secondary play. You actually legitimately believe that these tough, hard-nosed, defensive-minded teams in the AFC North might actually have a shot when they draw the likes of Kansas City, perhaps in the first round. I love the NFL right now. I look at that AFC playoff picture, and I can't wait for these potential games. But because scoring is down, you have people doing there's too many Kenny Pickett's, there's too many checkdowns, and I love it. It actually feels like the parity we keep alleging is in this sport.
One of the things, though, that happens yesterday is Chargers-Lions. One of the things that happens is Texans-Bengals, where you're watching up and down the field in a way that doesn't feel as constipated as the Steelers-Packers game none of us want to watch. We don't want to watch that Carolina Bears game. There are a lot of games.
Good games.
The Titans-Tampa Bay game, nobody wants to watch.
No, I mean,
that.
No one wants to see a blowout, but count me in the I know that this is a losing hand. Everyone likes. I'm not here to say that Chargers-Lions is a bad game. I'd be foolish to say so. I enjoyed that game greatly. I enjoy these shootouts too. But to say things that a defensive-minded struggle isn't a good game when it's competitive, I'm not in that class. I like seeing good defense. I like trying to figure out how Mike Tomlin's going to win and have a 6-3 record despite being outgained for the 9th consecutive game. I love this about the sport right now.
You cannot say that you love watching Kenny Pickett. You can't say it.
I think he's coming online. I think he plays with his feet.
He is making plays, though.
That's complimentary football.
Right.
Babe, that's what this is.
Oh, no. Put it on the
He's
poll,
right,
Juju.
babe.
That's what this is.
That's complimentary football, babe.
Yes
Kenny
or no?
Pickett to Jalen Warren for 3 yards
God,
every play.
Not everyone has a Tua to Tariq Hill. Not everyone has C.J. Stroud. Not everyone has Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase.
So you have to do what you have to do to try to win the game.
Yep.
And I understand what Carolina is doing. Like, let's go all on Bryce Young because I guess he's going to be the greatest quarterback, and people will get lucky, and someone will pass on C.J. Stroud. Someone will be there to collect him, and you hope you have a quarterback that'll keep you relevant for 20 years. That's the end game. I understand that changes the math. But when you are stuck with a Kenny Pickett, how do you win when you're up against these great quarterbacks? You win by playing the type of football that they're playing right now, and I think that's admirable.
Which is boring football.
That's the argument you make when you don't have C.J. Stroud.
Kenny Pickett had a QBR of 24 yesterday.
And a win.
And 6-3. That is
Right.
correct. Same record as.
But the
A
point
better record than C.J. Stroud.
Okay, I get it, but I like seeing these teams that are overmatched actually have chances now because the defense has gotten that much better.
The games being close like that, the aberration being the Titans Tampa Bay game and the Cowboys Giants game. You've come to expect that in the witching hour, you're going to get something. The witching hour, but at 3:45, something's going to be decided late that will grab your attention just because it's football late. It doesn't. It's the magic of it.
Seahawks, Commanders. If you're offensive minded, you're probably saying this is a crap game, but it's close.
The Browns Ravens got you yesterday.
It was a
In
great
the witching
game,
hour,
but
I'm
defenses
saying.
were
Right.
making tremendous plays. Quarterbacks were making plays with their feet in pots. I don't know how anyone does anything against the Ravens. Have you watched them play defense?
They wreck
Have you watched
line of
what
scrimmage.
they do? Have you watched what they do? You got middle linebackers running up to the line and then doing a dead sprint out of your picture. You're like, what the hell is this quarterback supposed to do? What are they doing on defense?
I really the part I enjoy about the Ravens. It's not my favorite part, but it's up there. Clowning, no training camp. Just show up 17 Sundays and be a basketball player, be a power forward that no one can block, and get to the backfield in 2 seconds because all of these teams have these pass rushers.
Clowney's an also-ran in this generation.
He had 2 sacks yesterday.
There's 2 Bosas, and we only talk about one of them, really. Like, Khalil Mack had like
JJ's not the
17
best-
sacks in a
JJ's
game.
not the best watch.
Yeah. It's an insane time. And these incredible athletes. I mean, guys, that is, if you like sports for the athleticism, watching what Max Crosby and Zach Wilson did at the end of that game, that is compelling, and that is height of athleticism of the sport. And that's Zach Wilson, a punchline. He can hit him with a stutter step to evade and throw a ball 50 yards downfield. And by God bless Ty Conklin, incredible pass defense.
Max Crosby is a specimen. Have you seen Max? There's a video circulating of Max Crosby playing pickup basketball at like a double-rim park somewhere in like I don't know where, and he's throwing down like windmill slams. He's playing like LeBron, and I'm like, where did this guy come
is
from?
an
We've mentioned it
insane
before.
athlete.
He's got 2 X's in his name.
Yeah.
Should be 3.
It's terrifying.
Put it on the poll, please. Should Max Crosby have 3 X's in his first name?
Different career path.
Zach Wilson, the Zach Wilson throw that you mentioned, the Hail Mary, Stugotz, it reminded me of something that happened yesterday, and I wonder how you would feel if you have a bet on this game. Roy was lamenting. He was spitting at his microphone before we turned it on. He was so mad at the New York Rangers because he had a 4-leg parlay, and he just needed the Rangers to beat the worst team in the league by more than a goal, and they did not.
Right.
But imagine you've got money on this game.
Should have hedged it.
Jameis Winston
Yeah, you're
drops
right.
back to pass, and he's throwing a Hail Mary. And in Texas, as he's doing this, they go to commercial right in the middle of it, and it's a commercial for Undisputed. And when they come back from the commercial in parts of Texas, it's not Jameis Winston or whatever happened on the play, it's Cowboys Giants. And so you're watching that game, whatever happened at the end of that game, and you're somebody who doesn't have one of these channels that gives you everything. This should be a bigger story. There are fans in Houston that are really mad about what happened because you cannot have the computer buffering. Then you cannot go to an undisputed commercial of all things and then return to action, and it's a different game.
And the worst game of the weekend.
You can't watch the whole game, and then if you're watching that whole game, okay, one team's got its third string quarterback, and at some point in that game, Stugotz, Derek Carr leaves, and they're like, shoulder or concussion? I don't know.
It's Jameis time.
It's something. It's Jameis time, baby.
With Jameis, though, if that happens, like, you can guess how it ends, right? Like, he had his 2 touchdowns, so you know what we're due for there.
Jameis was happy. Yeah.
Anytime Jameis comes in, you can pencil him for 2 touchdowns and 3 picks. Doesn't matter what half, doesn't matter what quarter. He's going to throw inexplicable balls to somebody.
He makes me smile. That's all I can
really
say.
does.
I see him on the field, and I'm happier.
There was a play where he ran out to the other hash, right? Saw a guy 40 yards down the field
I saw that.
diagonally.
Yes.
Throws a ball 100 miles an hour to the
right.
guy
To
who
the
must have
other-
been.
It was a terrible judgment, terrible
was the
throw.
worst pass I've
But
ever
this is
seen.
what Chris brings up is great here because the career of Jameis Winston, like this can't be said loudly enough. The Bucs were 7-9 when he led the league in interceptions. They changed their quarterback to Tom Brady. He won the championship. And the great thing about all of the strategy, look, Mike Ryan's arguing on behalf of complimentary football. I like the strategy. Do you guys know how rare it is to be able to watch a quarterback play? And it's not the Zach Wilson category, and it's not the Patrick Mahomes category. It's a category all its own. Every Sunday, I tune in, and Jameis can be there. And the reason I'm going to watch is because he's never going to learn. He's going to keep doing it. Like Brady won with your team a championship, and he's like, nope, I'm going to keep throwing, and I'm never going to learn not to make that throw.
And I'm going to do it with a smile on my face.
For me, it's the eating dubs. When he ate his fingers and said, who wants to eat some dubs? That's it.
Jameis's takeaway from the year that he led the NFL in interception was, I also led in passing yards.
That's right. That is absolutely right. And he takes it out there with him all the time.
God bless him for it.
Absolutely. And also, he will never learn.
Dating back to last year, where I eventually went to College Station and I got to experience their atmosphere firsthand, and it was kind of on the heels of their weird midnight yell. Dan can attest to this. I've been obsessed with Texas A&M football for the last 2 years. I bet them every game. I think the world of the talent on that team, and I think their season fell apart this year in large part due to losing Connor Wegman. But it finally happened yesterday. The much-rumored, much-discussed Jimbo Fisher hypothetical firing stopped being a hypothetical, and the impossible has happened. And whenever anyone talked about Jimbo Fisher, they talked about, well, it's a buyout. You can't get away from that buyout. You're just going to have to suffer through this.
It's insane. It's 4 times as much as the previous largest buyout. It's a crazy amount of money.
Mike, I have a great stat here. Jimbo Fisher will get paid more to not coach than Jameis Winston has been paid to play in the NFL. That's amazing.
That's unbelievable. And Jimbo Fisher went out and put up a 50-burger. Coincidentally, the team that was on the receiving end of that 50-burger also fired their coach this morning because I guess if Jimbo's getting fired after that performance, we got to fire our coach too.
Are they firing him because Wiegman is coming back and because he can win a couple of games and they don't want the pressure before recruiting of winning a couple of games because the starting quarterback, the one quarterback he's had there who got hurt is the one who's coming back now?
I think they fired Jimbo Fisher because of the last few seasons because he had all the resources in the world, great talent. If you look at their composite ratings, the greatest recruiting class, I think, ever on the heels of a 2020 season. If you look back, way back in the Wayback Machine, 2020, people thought Mike Norvell was a horrible hire, and they thought Texas A&M was coming for everybody's stuff. They just won an Orange Bowl. Look how much the world has changed since then. But I wonder if Jimbo got a little nervous as the results got worse, and even though he was having a good game, changed the quarterback, their offense looks good. At halftime, this happens. We're going to throw up a still image right now of a donation that the Texas A&M athletic department received. And this is not a number that you sneeze at. $160 million. $160 million. That is crazy.
It's why they can buy him out.
Yeah, no, what they did at
get a new
halftime
one.
was just announce, we're firing Jimbo. Here is this big oversized check. But I don't want to ignore the last tactical expertise that Jimbo left us with
This is so
before
good.
he got fired.
Stugotz, have you seen this?
Yes.
Now, I told you, I mentioned that he changed the quarterback. Max Johnson's terrible. Just not his fault. Just has his limitations. His big failure is that he's not as good as a previous guy. That's what Max Johnson's big. Also he sucks. But like he hasn't done that much wrong. So they're trying to catch Mississippi State by surprise, and they put out a phony Max Johnson to warm up because there's all sorts of mystery as to who's starting at quarterback for Texas A&M. Complete with a hat, the jersey number on this training, and he's throwing lefty. They put out a fake Max Johnson, a chef's kiss of tactical strategy.
It worked.
From Jimbo
did.
Fisher.
It did work.
You don't fire that guy after that. You wait till he drops another disappointing game, which will inevitably happen to Jimbo Fisher. That right there, and I don't throw around this word.
He's starting to get
this
it.
word lightly. Genius. If anything, that's an encouraging sign. Maybe patience.
It's just a left-handed person that they put on the field.
So who is this guy? I'm missing the point here. So he sends out a fake quarterback to warm up for what reason?
He's got the Uncle Rico throwing motion. How is he fooling anybody?
It's because he's left-handed and because Max Johnson is left-handed, and they just wanted to confuse. They didn't know. They wanted no one to know who to prepare for. Either their terrible backup quarterback that usually starts, or the one who they put in who was then a good deal better than Max Johnson.
So the resources over at Texas A&M have been a big-time talking point for several years now, and Johnny Football is right to say, I totally transformed that town. He did. College Station is, as for the town that it is, unrecognizable
That
from
check
what it was.
is crazy for that.
Right.
Have you place for the boosters at that school are enormous, and the oil money at that school is crazy.
Have you found out through the reports out there who their internally dream candidate is?
Is it Urban Meyer?
It has to be. I think it should be Urban Meyer.
Stugotz has been arguing.
It's Dan Campbell.
No.
It's
No
Dan
way.
Campbell.
Well,
I
he's
hope
not
it
leaving.
happens.
I mean, why would he leave the
That's
Lions?
such a good one.
I think he
though.
went to Texas A&M.
10 years. I give you 10 years. You've rehabbed the entirety of your life.
He's looking at that as like, if I fail, I can go back to the pro game. It's kind of like a bizarro college thing where
Right.
the college coaches go to the pros and are like, I can be a disaster, but I'm Bobby Petrino. You'll welcome me back with open arms in the college ranks. Maybe it's a bizarro thing with Dan Campbell, but he is the leading dream candidate right now.
Well, no, I think he looks at it as if I fail, I never have to work again. Yeah. Ever.
Right. Yes.
I don't need to be rehabbed. I don't need to go to the NFL. I will be paid $76 million to go vacation forever.
Me and Billy came up with what Jimbo should do next. Like his next move is very simple. Me and Billy agree on this. Yeah. Go down to the Big Chill, talk to Jimmy, give him his real estate agent, go out and buy a house over in the Keys, right on the water, get a nice little boat. Relájate. Don't worry about it. Olvídate.
He's freshly divorced, 58 years old. He earned it. I mean, he didn't earn it, but he earned it.
There is option B, which is it's not the first time that Nick Saban would hire somebody that he beefed with.
Why go to Alabama? You have
He's
the
not
Keys
going to
right
Nick
there.
Saban.
Why do
He's
you
stuck
like
with
Nick
Tommy Reese out
Saban?
there,
Mike,
the Nick Saban
You
rehabilitation
have
program.
$76 million. You want to deal with Nick Saban?
Exactly right.
You want to be the boss.
He's done it
yelled at?
before.
No.
He can do it again.
No.
Oh, come on. 2 years over there with Jalen Milroe. He'll get the next big job. Hell, Texas A&M may hire him again. That's the way this goes when you go to Alabama.
I thought the Alabama thing was done, and they're back again, and they're not
Yep.
as terrible as they looked at the beginning of the season when we pounced and we're like, they don't have a quarterback. But can I say something about
This might be their best quarterback ever, Dan. I'm not joking.
Please stop.
Dan, he's a sophomore. If you look at Jalen Milroe's numbers as compared to Jalen Hurts when he was a sophomore, I am telling you right now, he's been better. Okay?
Stugotz, I saw him play against Texas when they lost. He couldn't play, and of course, he has improved since then. But I was making the analysis from earlier this season that when they came out of the gate losing at home by 2 touchdowns to a Texas team that's just okay, just okay, it didn't look like they had quarterback play. But speaking of that, please, dear God, I beg of you, Get that Michigan-Penn State game out of my life forever. Get those schools that fatten up on Northwestern and Iowa and Illinois and Indiana, and then at the end of the season are there to tell me they're as good as everybody else. And what do? 20 straight runs from Michigan. Penn State on first down, 13 straight downs of run the football. Don't trust our quarterbacks at all. Neither one of them are going to throw for 100 yards. Michigan is going to muscle you to death, and they're just going to run the ball for the remainder of the game. Get that game, put it on an aircraft carrier. Thank you for your service. Send it out to sea. I don't ever need to see it again. Please, dear God. You can't take James Franklin with you. All of you out of here. Just
the Big Ten?
Just all of you get out of here. You with Desmond Howard on television telling me 10 years ago that Jim Tressel deserves to be banned from the game and he's happy when cheaters are gone. But when you put a clown in disguise on the Central Michigan sidelines, that's cheating we can defend and tolerate.
Made the Michigan coach cry.
Look at this emotional. This was a galvanizing moment for the state of Michigan.
To win on the road in this environment when there were doubts. Jerome, what does it mean to you?
I want to thank the Lord. I want to thank Coach Harbaugh. I love you, man. Love the shit out of you, man. This is for you. For this university, the president, our AD. We got the best players, best university, best alumni in the country. Love you guys. These guys right here. These guys right here, man. These guys did it. These guys did it, man. Talk to him, man. Love you.
Thank you, Coach.
It's not that serious.
Talk to these guys. Talk to
Harbaugh's still with us, by the way.
Just in case.
didn't die,
Just
right?
suspended. That's
I had to
all.
check.
He's going to produce the greatest season in Michigan history, and he's going to coach 4 of the games.
I love the out of these guys. I love the out of them.
It's like a drunk dude at a bar at a bachelor party.
I legitimately did not know how they could get a court injunction on Saturday to try and get Jim Harbaugh to play in that game. But the entire game was a restraining order.
You want to send it off to sea?
Him too.
How about J.J. McCarthy with the rallying cry of bet before the game? J.J. McCarthy, Heisman Trophy candidate. 7 of 8, 60 yards.
Mike, they didn't pass in the second half.
Bet.
I read, now I thought, Stugotz, I'm going to give those stats again. Penn State on first down, started the game. I tuned it out at this point. 13 straight first downs, handoff, 2 yards.
Yeah.
And Michigan came back with, no, you think that's good? No, we watch this. Watch this.
You think you can run?
You think you can do that? No. Watch us, where every time we go to 5 wides, you know it's just a quarterback draw, right? We're not going to throw out of this formation. 32.
We're just trying to spread you out.
I think at the end of the game, they ran the ball 32 straight times, and the strategy is just what Stugotz said. All we're trying to do is spread you out so our quarterback can do a quarterback draw.
I imagine the last time there was a top 12 matchup of two teams where both quarterbacks threw under 71 yards was probably a time where one team traveled by steam engine.
Infuriating. You like to call it, I like complimentary football.
Right.
That's good stuff right there.
That's what you're arguing on behalf of, right there.
Yeah.
The college
Pound the
game,
rock.
we're teaching them young.
Hey, put the tip of your finger on your tongue.
Right.
Take the temperature of the wind.
Yep.
Find out, feel the game out, and know exactly what type of style of football you want to play.
And hand it to Blake Corum.
And hand it to Blake Corum. Did you see his face after? All bloodied?
Yes.
He looked fine there after Moore
He
told
looked like
him.
the Big Ten.
Yeah. Lead propagandist Adam Schefter is circulating all positive Michigan news. I'm very happy for them. This was a great day for Michigan.
Charles Woodson goes on television and says the whole thing is. And I just want to ask you, if you can support that kind of cheating, you'll support any kind of cheating, right?
Yes.
Any kind. Has it been hard? Have they been persecuted for years and years? It's the first time that they're having to deal with this. Also, I trusted James Franklin. It fooled me. I thought he was due.
What?
I thought he was due.
Oh, the due theory.
So many distractions. Their coach getting pulled aside on a tarmac saying you're suspended. We're trying to get a restraining order so you can play. It had all the makings.
And honest to God, though, do you understand that I felt for 3 hours like I was watching the manifestation of a court injunction? Like, I'm watching a courtroom, and it's just
Like, I object.
I object to all of this. Send it out to sea.